Good afternoon, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and I bring you guys our first ever ban list prediction slash wish list. I hope you guys are excited as much as I am. I've always loved watching other Yugi players make their ban list predictions. It's a major discussion when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. Every few months, we always discuss the ban list, potential hits, potential unbans, potential limits. This is a very, very important thing in the lifespan of Yu-Gi-Oh! The ban list is made to check the format. Basically, the ban list is made to push out new product and basically ban old product. And the reason why that is so important is because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a living, breathing card game that ultimately just needs to be cleansed sometimes. Sometimes you just need that, you just need some new cards and gotta get some old, really annoying, really evil cards out of the format. And I can't wait to discuss this. These are my thoughts. These are my hopes, dreams, and, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but this is just my ideas for the ban list, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so let's get this started with the bans. Now, bans are basically, for anyone who doesn't know, are cards that are just unhealthy for this format. Basically, they're cards that have been plaguing the format, making the game really unfair and just very unbalanced in general. Cards that have been banned in the past include some really stinkers like Imperial Order, not Reckless Greed, what am I thinking of? What's it called? Graceful Charity, and a whole bunch of really impactful and stupid cards. Soul Charge. There's just the list goes on, and these are the cards that need to be taken out of the format and get the fuck out of here. And I'm happy to say this is where I hope gets removed from the ban list. So let's get started with my first card, which is Psych. None of these three. So these cards bring up almost every ban list, at least where I'm at. They bring up a lot. I don't think these three cards are a problem yet. Call by the Grave should go to 3 or 1. I do believe in that. Oh, I meant to say 3 or 0 because it's just a really strong card. And it kind of has the Max C issue. As for Totally Awesome, it's my favorite XYZ, so don't you dare touch my boy. Paleo best deck. Just kidding, but I really want Toad to stay at 3. It kills Paleo ever chance of becoming meta again. And I don't think Toad's the issue. Same thing like Baron de Fleur and all the other boss monsters that negate cards. I don't think they're the issue as long as they're once per turn. Now, and finally, Fairy Tale Snow should probably get banned. I don't think she's bannable yet, even though she was on the ban list for a time. I don't think she's the most banned card. I think we have more higher priorities than her, especially since she just came off the list. But I do think she needs to be banned. Just banishing cards from Grave is stupid. The fact you can dump her off Branded Fusion, a whole bunch of other ways. This card definitely needs to be hit. It probably should be banned. I just feel like it's not top priority. And it just came off the list. I feel like putting it off and putting it back on, I don't know. I just feel like we should at least give it a chance. And hopefully it ain't too broken. But obviously, since the second it came back, it's literally been in almost any meta deck that can play it. It should probably be banned. And good riddance on her if she does. But that is it for my honorable mentions. Now it's time for the shit I want banned. Now, it's not guaranteed that these cards will get hit. But these are my personal preferences. These are what I want to be banned. I know people say, well, this is what Konami is going to do. Well, I say, fuck Konami. This is what I want hit. That's just my opinion. You could be against it or not. I really don't care. But this is what I think. And let's get started. You all know how to do it. Scythe needs to get the fuck out of his format. Now, Scythe isn't that prevalent right now. But give it a couple months. This card's going to be rampaging once more. I showed my most popular video is literally showing how Brandon can Scythe lock you now. I just feel like this card is just degenerate, unhealthy, and not good for the game. It used to be that only trap decks can play Scythe, so it's kind of balanced. But now that meta decks can actually play it and they can just force Scythe pops, honestly, this card is just unfair. And it just needs to go. A card that says, hey, when it's summoned, to say, hey, you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just not a fair card. And especially when combo decks make a whole combo to just Scythe Lock you and then make like 5 negates afterwards. It's not cool. The 5 negates are already annoying. Now I can't special summon. You're just locking me out of the game. And I think that card needs to be banned for that exact reason. If it was only in trap decks, I would say it'd be fine. But the fact that it's in combo decks and the fact that it is so easily done in almost so many decks, it just needs to be banned. I'm tired of this card. It should have been banned like 5 formats ago. But hey, what can you do? Let's ban it now. Alright, so for our next card, there is no more hated card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Than Mystic Mine. This is probably the most polarizing card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Besides Max C, which is a banned card. Now, Mystic Mine is just stupid. Not only does it say, hey, you just lose, doesn't matter. Any combo deck can just bait out some negates and just go smack a Mystic Mine down and say you lose the duel. And, yeah, this card is very unfun, very unfair, and it gives free wins to decks that honestly shouldn't deserve it. Now, I know the argument could be playing, well, just play the removal cards. Well, honestly, you can play the removal cards, but damn it, when you got to play removal cards and you got to play the combo, it just, we all know why Mystic Mine is unfair. We all know it. It's played in combo decks as much as control decks. This card just does not need to exist. It was broken from the start. We all knew it should have been banned. Literally, when this card came out, it was too good. Now, just ban it now. We've learned our mistakes. Get rid of it. End of discussion. Sorry, Jeff Leonard. I hope you find a better deck. Go back to Barry statues. All right. Well, it's that time again. Dimensional Barrier needs to go. This card is broken, unfair, and just one-sided as all hell. Plus, very searchable. So, Dimensional Barrier says, hey, let's just stop one of the extra deck mechanics altogether. And that's a little too good. The fact you just say, I flip this card up, call fusions, now you can't fusion or use fusion effects this turn. Or you call XYZ or Synchro, or Ritual or Pendulum. That's just too good. It's too strong. You go against one of these archetypes and they just won't have a chance. I think this card needs to be banned. It's too strong. Now, I know it doesn't check link, so it's a little outdated. But even with it's outdated, it hits every other archetype. You try to play Exorcist, they call XYZ. You just lose. It's a very one-sided card. The fact you can trap trick it out is just another reason why it needs to be banned. It's just too good. We all know it's too good. Now, in this format, it's good against most of the decks. But at the same time, it's still a very unfair card. It's like literally a win button. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Should not have win buttons. My opinion. Anyway, this card needs to be banned. Next video. Alright, so I would be a hypocrite if I did not bring up Chaos Ruler. This guy is very bannable. He probably should be banned. I don't want to ban him because he's one of my favorite synchros. This guy's just amazing. If anyone has watched any of my punk deck lists, you've seen how amazing Chaos Ruler is. But to be honest, it's always been an unfair card. The fact that it mills 5 and it's a bring back for level 8 for link material, for synchro material. This card is just broken. The milling 5 from your extra deck is just from deck is just so free. And honestly, as more and more cards become more and more broken, this card just needs to leave. As much as I love this card, as much as I wanted to stay in this format, I think in the betterhood of just everyone being hit, this card does need to go. As much as I love it, as much as I wanted to stay, I feel like Chaos Ruler is just too broken to continue. Especially with the new Abyss cards coming out. I just feel like this card's just too broken. And you're always going to have to keep cards banned or limit new cards creations if this card stays. Because this card is just too broken to stay in this game. As much as I love it, on to the next one. Hopefully it won't be as much as controversial. Well, here's another one. How could Fiberax the most broken Link 2 we've ever received, which is saying something because the soul is a card. Crystron Hagafibrax definitely needs to go. I don't even think the summoning from the deck is the worst part about this card. I think the worst part about this card is that it synchros on your opponent's turn, which enables so many degenerate things, like King Calamities on your opponent's turn. It's literally just broken. Now, don't get me wrong, this card right now isn't the strongest thing in the format, but it's literally been the strongest thing for the format before this for months now. And it's just waiting on the next deck to break it some more, to be just too good. It's just too good of a card. Summoning any tuner from deck is just amazing. It's too good. I know it supports other decks like Emancipator and things like that, but honestly, it's just too much of a game mechanic flaw. It just, too many things can be summoned from the deck with this card that it's always going to be broken, and you always have to design cards off it. Not to mention, there's like 7 cards on the ban list because of this card. And you could take most of those cards off if this card is banned. For example, Glow Bulb. Oh, actually, Glow Bulb might stay at the ban list, but I really love Glow Bulb. I had to mention it because it's my favorite tuner. But damn it, there's just so many cards that can come back. If this card was banned, it has to be banned. This card is just, it's too good. It's too good. Alright, so this next one might be a hot take, but I gotta say it. Griffin Rider probably needs to be the next Nightmare banned. I think Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus are fine, but I think Griffin might be on the chopping block because of this recent update. This card just, the fact that you can just set any spell or trap with this card from the deck, it's just kind of stupid. Now, I know you had to go through some elaborate combo to do it, but I feel like if we let this card go by itself, I feel like it's too broken this day because it's just too degenerate. The fact that you can set any card with this card means that every combo deck can potentially set a floodgate. This literally happened to me, this locals. This guy was playing Lunalight Tier Element. I know, it's a strange deck. And the guy literally went the Curious to Griffin line, and then basically just got Anti-Spell. Now, I might be a little spiteful for that, but I honestly think Anti-Spell is fine for control decks, even though it is a punishing card, but we do have so much spell and trap removal, I think it's fine. But I still think Anti-Spell is more fair than Mystic Mine, only due to the fact that it's a continuous spell, unlike a field spell. Mystic Mine is much more searchable and much more easier to use than Anti-Spell. Even though Anti-Spell is really, really annoying, there's potential to say it needs to be banned. I think it's still a toxic card, but I don't think it's strong enough to be considered bannable. I think it's only bannable because, honestly, the fact that Griffin can actually just set it onto the field is kind of stupid. Now, that's not the only reason why I want to ban Griffin. The other reason why is Griffin also enables turn skips. I was going to post this deck profile for Infernoble Knights. I even had the thumbnail and everything. I'm just waiting on a couple more cards, but Infernobles can turn skip. And a whole bunch of other decks can. And like Drytron, a whole bunch of other things. And I just don't think that's really healthy for the game. You shouldn't be able to skip your opponent's turn and just say, okay, since I skipped your turn, I guess I win because I just attack. It's really, really stupid, really, really unfair. Even if it's kind of convoluted, just give it enough support or give it enough time with new cards. Eventually, something's going to break this card. And I feel like with a card like this, it's better safe than sorry to ban it now before it's too degenerate. Right now, it's just starting to get to see some play, starting to see some combos, and I don't like what I'm seeing. So I say we ban it now, bite the bullet. All the nightmares are all pretty good, and go with that. We're going to have 3, damn it. 3 of them are banned if we do this, and the 3 that aren't. And I think that's just how to do. Anyway, I have one more ban card, and then we'll move on to the limits. Alright, so for the last 3 cards, I kind of just want to group them all together I consider it basically the same reason. They all have the same reason why we need to ban them. And it's Kalyuga, the Invoker, Wenda, the Shadal, and Nemesis. I believe this is Protoss. Nemesis Archer Protoss, or Protoss might already be banned. It's his brother, whatever. Who cares? All three of these cards are really, really stupid. One basically says, "Hey, I'm a floodgate in tier element." Oh, they both are floodgates in tier element, and they both basically say, "Hey, you get one summon of a special summon, or you get one effect of a monster this turn." That's really, really bullshit. I think Kalyuga out of the three is the most fair. But at the same time, it's the easiest to summon. So, you take that as you will. As for Wenda is pretty easy to summon and has been a plague for the last few years. Ever since its existence, to be honest. And I feel like Wenda probably needs to go eventually. If it ain't banned in this ban list, it's going to be banned eventually. And then Protoss and the other one deserve to be banned. Now, these cards are just broken out the gate. The fact that you just call a type or attribute is ridiculous. Now, I know the one that calls types is banned. No, it's the other way around. The one that calls attributes is banned. This one calls types. And that's still pretty broken. I might be a little spiteful on this because I literally went against a Nemesis Splite build that literally made this damn thing with a format Appaloosa and a freaking Ibly, a Nightmare Ibly. That is just not a fair game, man. What are you supposed to do? This card literally can call Aqua, can call Dinosaur. If you're playing a deck and this card calls your fucking type, you just lose. And because of that, I feel like this card needs to be banned. Even if it ain't too broken now, even if that's not the best Splite build, whatever. Eventually the deck will break this card. It needs to go. It's a 3,000. It just blows up the board and floodgates for a whole turn. Konami knew this card was unfair from the start, and it needs to be banned. Alright, rant over when it comes to the ban list. Time to talk about the limits, which I'm more excited about. Alright, so now it's time for the cards that we're definitely going to put to 1. I usually would put some honorable mention here, like putting the True King of all calamity. Not kidding. True King can stay banned. Same thing with Rongo Midiad. Those cards are stupid and broken. But I do feel like there's cards that could definitely be put to 1 that are on the ban list. And there's definitely cards in this format that could definitely be placed to 1. Now, I don't have too many cards to be put to 1 because I did such a, I guess, slaughter if all my predictions. Well, they're not even predictions. This is my wish list of cards did get hit. But, hey, these are what I want to come back or what I want to be limited. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so for our first card, we're going to put to 1. It is Swap Frog. Now, Swap Frog needs to be put to 1. Sadly, if a Toad ain't going to get banned, there has to be an indirect hit to Splite. Splite is just so overpowered, and if we're hitting all of the tier elements win conditions, which are Wenda and Kalyuga, Invoke Kaluga, whatever the fuck that card's called, then we do have to hit Splite. Now, I feel like the best bet is Swap Frog. And that's just all I gotta say about it. You just hit Swap Frog, and I feel like that nerfs him enough that Toad can stay in the format and not be banned. Anyway, let's go on to the next card. Alright, so for our next card we have is Super Poly. Now, Super Poly is a very, very good card. Personally, I think out of all the Go Second cards, this is the only one with the possibility of going to 1. I personally am okay with it at 3, but I can make the argument for it at 1 too. Reason is because you can't respond to its activation. Cards that can't respond to activation are really, really stupid. And I think Super Poly is probably the most powerful. You cannot respond to effect in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I don't want this card banned because the tier element is broken. But putting it to 1 would make it more fair, or it would just make it too sacky. I honestly don't know. It might be the same issue where it's like the Max C issue, where it's at 3, it's overpowered, but at 0, you need it still. So it's like, I don't know. Up to you guys this side. Alright, so for our first card to come back off the ban list, I would say Orchestrated Harper or Harp can come back as a one-of. Everyone's been saying, hey, Salamangreat's got their cards back, and Sky Striker's got engaged. Why can't we get Harport? And I kind of agree with them. I feel like Harport isn't as evil as the other cards. So, personally, I would say bring it back. Still a really, really strong card. I think Orcus is better than they've ever been, even though they're not as strong in the meta because they're still old. But they can still do some really, really strong combos. And I feel like if you really want Orcus back in the format, definitely putting Harper to one is the way to do it. So I say it's a one-of. If it's too broken, we'll reban it again. Alright, baby. Now it's time for our Pendulum love. You know we gotta help Pendulum. It's the one mechanic that probably got the most dicked over besides Ritual when it comes to actual mechanics. And I feel like lately Konami's been doing a great job with helping the Pendulum archetypes. And I feel like Kieran's the next step. I think Electromite might be still too broken, and I think they gave us Pendulum with Beyond Pendulum to compensate for it. So I think Kieran is our next best card to come off the ban list. I think Plush Fighter is still a little too broken, but I definitely think Kieran can come back to 1. And I don't think it'll be too broken. I think the card's very good, and it's a compulse every turn, and it's untargetable, which is annoying, but I don't think it's unbeatable. It's only a 24. Yes, Pendulum to do a whole bunch of more interruptions, but hey, we have Dark Ruler, we have Lightning Storm. The card can, well, I guess it can't be destroyed by card effect, so that's a little annoying. But there's ways around him. I feel like if you can't beat a single compulse, you lose. Then maybe that's the issue. But I feel like the reason why he's banned is because he's getting re-pendulum summoned out. But I feel like putting him back to 1 is a fair shot. And if he ends up being too broken and pendulums become tier 0 out of nowhere, then we could just ban him again. So that's my opinion on Kieran. And it also makes Magnus Specters good again. So let's do it. Alright, so for our final card, we're going to put back to 1. We're going to put Spellbook to Judgment back to 1. I feel like this card is past its prime. I think it's a very strong card. I think at 3, it might be too much. But even then, Spellbooks haven't got any real support. Literally since they came out back in 2014, 2013. And honestly, I don't think they aged the greatest. Spellbooks are a really cool archetype of spellcasters. It's a really cool advantage resource loop, but are you going to be playing spellbooks in 2022 if Judgment went back to 1? I don't think so. I only think if Judgment went back to 3, you'd be playing it. So I think you can come back to 1, test out the waters. If it doesn't do anything, you can bring it back to 3. That's my opinion. And you can hate me if you don't. I never played in your format. I was 14 or 13 when this card got released and banned. So I really don't care about this card. But hey, I own a Spellbook deck. So if it helps that deck, all the more better for it. So let's do this. Alright, so now it's time for the quarantine section. These are our 2-0s. These are where Konami believes they're not sure if they're healthy enough to going back into the game at 3. Or if they should be put to 1. So this is where cards that are iffy, like malicious and things like that bounce around the ban list, usually live. And it's a very good section. It basically says, hey, let's make sure these cards aren't broken. And let's just make sure that before we put this card back to 3 and ruin a format, that it's okay at 2. Because if a card's okay at 2, then it's okay at 3, in my personal opinion. I believe the only card that can't go to 3 but is horrible at 1 is Malicious. So Malicious is always going to be at 2. And that's just my opinion about it. And let's now go on to the quarantine section, which I only have 1 card. I know I could put more, but I feel like this video is already going kind of long. And this is my personal pick for what card I want that's at 1 to go back to 2 or even 3. Alright, so for our limited list, I only have 1 card on here. I'm not really up to date on every card that's on limited list, but I definitely know I want Dragonic Diagram back to 2, if not 3. I think this card was hit for True Dracos and, of course, Dinosaurs, but I don't think True Draco or Dinosaur are even going to be really that strong in this format. Now, don't get me wrong, this card is a really, really good card. Popping cards is good. Getting advantage on popping cards is a good effect. Only issue is, this card searches True Kings. Dinosaurs have moved so fast past playing level 9 True Kings, plus Calamity's banned. So they wouldn't even be playing this card if they did. If they did, cool, whatever. It's like the 12th best card to pop a baby with. There's so many other cards that could pop babies with. And yeah, you can say, oh, it searches Lithium Sagem. Oh no. But they already have ways to get to Lithium Sagem. And even then, Lithium Sagem's at 1 and they ain't doing shit. So honestly, bring the card back to 3. I say for now, put it in a testing phase, put it in the safe zone, put it in 2, and then put it in 3 when it does absolutely jack shit in Splite and Tier Element format. That's my opinion. If I can think of any other cards, I'll add them to the list. When it comes to 2s, let's get on to now 3s, or unlimited cards. Alright, so now it's time for the cards we're going to put back to 3. Now, these cards make everyone usually really happy they're back, or just make the one guy, as you see in the picture, kind of grumpy. Like, everyone else is enjoying that this card's back to 3, and this guy's kind of like, well, shit, it's back to 3. That kind of sucks. But, hey, no one's perfect, and hey, no opinion is correct. And some worlds, that guy who's angry about this one card that he thought was broken, coming back to 3, is back to 3. And let's just get to it. I don't have that many cards, but as you can see, I focus mostly on the bans, because I feel like there's a lot of ban-worthy cards in this format. And let's just get straight into it. Alright, so the first card we're bringing back is Salamangreat Gazelle. Now, this card has already been moved to 2. Salamangreat is probably like the 3rd or 4th best Cyberse deck. It can come back to 3. I feel like Cyberse and Salamangreats had their time in the sun. They haven't gotten any new support that's really breaking them. Now, don't get me wrong, Cyberse is always going to help them get stronger. I feel like Salamangreats are the strongest they've ever been. But because the format has passed them so much, the strongest they've ever been is weak compared to this format. Now, don't get me wrong, Babushka plus the Burning Heat Soul dude is pretty strong, not to mention the counter trap. But hey, it's not Splite level, it's not Tier Element level. I think this card's really, really strong. The fact you can just dump anything, and now we have a 3-0, so Desires is even more free. But hey, I think this card can come back to 3. And I think it's the only card that's still on the list for Salamangreats. Bring this card back to 3. And let's just have full power salad and see how it does absolutely nothing. Alright, so for our next card we have Trickstar Light Stage. I think this card can finally come back to 3. Trickstars aren't doing anything. Now, there is an argument to say, hey, it's a spike card, because it summons the level 2, extender. And it also basically says, force out a trap, which might be too good. And I've seen some builds lately been playing that in the European Nationals. But personally, I think at 3 or 2, it doesn't really change it. I think it'd still be a 3 and just a really strong card for Splite. And I don't think it'll be so broken. Oh no, they have Trickstar Light Stage at 3. What is Splite going to do with it? I think it's just another level 2 extender. It's a good card, don't get me wrong. But again, I think it's alright. And I just want Trickstar to be better again. I haven't been good in a while. This is still not going to make them good, but hey, at least it's in the right direction. They put it at 2 last list. They might as well put it at 3. That's my opinion. And let's go on to the 3 cards that should have came off a while ago. Alright, so for our final 3 cards that can come right back to 3, Yagaratsu, Time Skip, and Wall of Revealing Light. These 3 cold cards from GOAT format can finally come back. Now, to be honest, they could have came back like 10 years ago, and I don't think much would have changed. But hey, they're here, they're at 1, you might as well put them at 3. Yada ain't doing anything in 2022. You're not going to Yada lock someone. If you do, they deserve it. Wall Revealing Light is really cool in Dynamorphia to lower your life points to 1,000, so they're already floodgating you. But whatever, if they want to waste their life points on this spell card when they could be playing Solemn Judgment, good on them. And as for Time Skip, Come on, it takes 3 turns to skip an opponent's turn. By then, you're already dead and you're wondering what happened. Alright, that is it for the ban list. I hope you all enjoyed. This is my prediction list. This is more like what I hope. What I predict is that only half of these are actually going to be affected. But a man can dream, right? And that's just my thoughts. I considered putting Curious on this list, but I feel like Curious is just so... It's kind of like the Griffin issue where they both just started becoming relevant again. So it's like, do I ban them? Do I not? I hate Griffin more, so that's why Griffin is on the list and not Curious. That's just my opinion. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy. Don't do anything stupid, and see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.